3rd and 20. He may run for the first down. He has the record. He's got it. That's the record. Steve McNair at the Southern 39-yard line. First down and a record performance.
He's the best college quarterback I ever saw. I did a big piece for the op-ed page of the New York Times on Steve and Alcorn that came out the Saturday morning that he broke the all-time college record for total yardage. And I was so impressed with Alcorn. The people down there could not have been nicer. But this young man is a master. I predict such great things for him. I've also met him, and he's a very fine young man. And I was pleased to see when he broke the play in which he broke the all-time college record for total yards down at Jack Spinks Stadium, the Spinks Jinx. The referees called timeout. All the players on both sides hugged him, and Steve took the football, trotted over to the sidelines, and I'm pleased to say he gave that football to his mama.
The crowd is sensing it too. They're supposed to stop the game and present the ball to Steve's mom. And they're going to do just that.
Steve McNair picks up the Mississippi Airmen's greatest, one of the biggest records in the history of college football, period. Not one there, not one double there, in the history of college football, period.
14,670 yards and counting. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a new all-time yardage leader in NCAA history. His name is Steve McNair.
Steve McNair was born in Mount Olive, Mississippi. Population 893, small town to say the least, in South Mississippi's Covington County. Median income, $22,105 a year. He was born to a hard-working single mother, Lucille McNair. Despite the struggle and the sometimes suffocating poverty, the fourth of 5 brothers, Steve was always smiling, upbeat, and that kept the family laughing and on their toes.
Steve was the type of person, he loved people, and he was like, I wouldn't say a problem child, but he enjoyed making people laugh, and he would do everything he could to get your attention. And he would talk, and he would do little silly things, to make people laugh.
McNair is a true testament that hard work, dedication, perseverance, and toughness can help someone achieve lifelong goals. Perhaps his mother provided the best model for Steve. She worked long overtime hours many days before returning home to take care for her family.
I would work overtime from 8 o'clock to about 12 o'clock. And I would come home and cook and, get dinner ready for them and get me a few hours of sleep, and I would go back to work.
Well, I think we know where they got their work ethic from.
So sometimes I would, like on the weekend, I would work 16 hours, nonstop, work my shift and the other shift before I would come home.
Just for her to be able to do that and raise 4 boys at the time, and then Michael comes along, and just a phenomenal job by her, the way she just did it, working night shift, and I had to depend on me a lot to kind of oversee things with the other younger brothers I had, and it's one of those things that where she had to work, and she made sure that she had food on the table and clothed us and everything, and we didn't have the best of things, but it was enough for us to be satisfied to where we understood that that's what she doing. That was good what she was doing for us.
McNair's ability combined with his hard work paid off at every level, from high school to the NFL. His rise to the pros began at Mount Olive High School, where he was a 4-star athlete, lettering in football, baseball, basketball, and track. He played quarterback and safety, leading Mount Olive to the state football championship his junior year. With his brother Tim, the McNair boys designed and executed a tight end throwback on the final play of the game to win the state championship in Clinton, Mississippi. The play had failed in an earlier playoff game, but to the McNair brothers' surprise, they got a second chance late in the state championship game.
It was like 30-something seconds left to go in the game. We down. He called timeout again, said, it's time to run it again. Like, okay, let's do it. So when he called the play, I was so nervous. He said, he looked at me before he broke the huddle. He said, don't you drop this ball. I said, don't you worry about me dropping. You make sure you catch the pass and throw it. And he said, I got that. So I guess Smithville must have scouted the play very well. So when they did it, he threw it to me, and I threw it back. It was a wobbly duck going across there. And somehow the cornerback on the other side didn't bite. He stayed out there in his zone. So when Steve caught the ball, he had to sidestep him. When he sidestepped him, he saw Cooper running down the sideline, and we talked about it afterward. And then he ended up looking at Ponder and threw it to Ponder. Ponder caught it and ran it for the touchdown. So we ended up winning the state championship that game.
We were sitting up there and I was praying, and this guy was sitting back and he said, the game is over with, the game is over with. I said, nope. I said, the game ain't over with. I said, the game ain't over with till the fat lady sing. I said, I ain't sung yet. and then I kept hearing saying McNair to McNair, McNair to McNair, and I looked. I said, how many children do I have out there? And so, Steve was passing the ball to Tim, and Tim was passing it back. And so I got confused. I didn't know how many children I had out there because they were saying McNair to McNair. And after the game, this man came up and he said, well, you were right. The game ain't over with till the fat lady sing. I said, I told you I hadn't sung yet.
Steve was originally offered a scholarship to play running back at the University of Florida and defensive back at several other Southeastern Conference schools, but his determination to play quarterback saw him sign with Alcorn State.
What do you remember about his decision-making process?
I remember this here, there was a guy out there called, the coach out there, Coach McGowan, and he was recruiting Steve.
Rat.
Yeah, Rat. He was recruiting Steve, and my mom, somehow, when it got close to signing date, my mom got a phone turned off because a lot of school was calling. And Alcorn didn't even know that he was going to sign with them. Of course, he had the phone. They had no prior knowledge of signing and all this stuff here. So the day before, we had talked and told me that I'm going to come play for Alcorn. He said, Fred got some records in Alcorn. I think I need to put my name in front of his.
McNair didn't start his first game at ASU, but came off the bench, threw 3 touchdowns. The rest is history. Steve earned first-team All-SWAC honors 3 times and captured the 1994 Walter Payton Award as the top Division I AA player and finished 3rd in the Heisman voting. He threw for 16,823 total yards, a record that still stands, and 119 touchdowns, setting a new NCAA mark for total offense. McNair toyed with the idea of leaving early for the NFL following his junior year, but opted to return after seeking the family's advice.
He came to me and he told me he was wanted to come out and go pro. And I told him, I said, you sure that's what you want to do? So he kept saying, we need the money, we need the money. I said, Steve, we ain't had nothing in these many years. I said, 1 more year won't hurt. I said, I wish you would stay. He said, well, I think about it. And so I didn't know what he was going to do, and at the press conference at Alcorn. And so when we had a press conference, he said, well, I done made my decision. He was telling everybody, I done made my decision. I was sitting up there with my finger crossed. I said, Lord, please let him stay. And so he said, I done made my decision. I think I'm going to stay. And I said, ooh, thank you, Jesus.
McNair's record-setting collegiate career was a springboard to the NFL as the third overall pick in the 1995 draft by the Houston Oilers, who later became the Tennessee Titans in 1997. McNair spent a majority of his pro career as a Titan from 1995 to 2005 before playing his final 2 seasons for the Baltimore Ravens. He was a 4-time NFL Pro Bowl selection. McNair led the Titans to Super Bowl 34, falling to the St. Louis Rams during a playoff run started by the now famous Music City Miracle in the first round of the playoffs versus Buffalo. He became the first African-American quarterback to lead an AFC team to the Super Bowl, and only the second to win a conference championship next to Doug Williams. McNair threw for more than 31,000 yards, completing more than 2,700 out of 4,500 pass attempts, a 60% completion rate, along with 174 touchdown passes, and he amassed more than 3,500 career rushing yards and 37 touchdowns during his 12-year NFL career. Ladies and gentlemen, accepting for 2014 recipient Steve McNair is his brother, Fred McNair.